Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Dear students of class 12th, subject business studies, and our today's topic is centralization and decentralization. Dear students, the words centralization and decentralization have different connotations. In management, the terms refer to the location of decision making authority in an organization. To see whether a concern is centralized or decentralized, one has to locate decision making power. हम ये कह सकते हैं, हमें डिसीजन मेकिंग पावर से हम ये कह सकते हैं कि कोई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन सेंट्रलाइज्ड है या डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड। अगर डिसीजन मेकिंग पावर सिर्फ टॉप लेवल मैनेजमेंट के हाथ में है तो इसको हम कह सकते हैं डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन। एंड अगर ये डिसीजन मेकिंग पावर सबऑर्डिनेट्स को भी दिया गया हो तो हम कह सकते हैं इट इज डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन। In centralization, decision making power vests with the top level. Everything that goes to increase the role of top level management is called centralization, and everything which goes to reduce the role of subordinates is called centralization. If the power to take decisions vests in one person at the top, it will be case of centralization. On the other hand, if decision-making power is distributed among many persons, or we can say if the subordinates are involved in decision-making, it is decentralization. The role of subordinates is also related to the degree of delegation of authority. If they are supposed to implement whatever they have been told, then it is centralization of authority. If decisions are taken at the top and subordinates do not have the authority to change or amend them. On the other hand, or in decentralization, in decentralized setup, subordinates only enjoy more powers and play an important role in decision making process. According to Henry Fayol, everything which goes to increase the importance of subordinates' role is decentralization, and everything which goes to reduce it is centralization. Centralization is common in small enterprises. The success of small enterprises depends upon the dynamic manager who single-handedly commands the whole business. He takes decisions himself and entrusts on implementation to the subordinates. There is direct link between proprietor and his employee. Centralization is generally successful in small-scale enterprises. This is possible because the operations are limited and the proprietor is able to devote personal attention to every activity of the business. This type of management is useful where emergency decisions are to be taken. Whereas in decentralization, it implies the dispersal of decision-making power at lower level of management. When the power to take decisions and formulate policies do not lie only with the top level, but it is passed on to different persons at different levels, it will be case of decentralization. The decisions taken at lower level should not only be more in number, but they should be important also. If insignificant decisions are allowed to be taken at lower levels, then it will not be case of decentralization. According to F.C. Holland, decentralization is a situation in which ultimate authority to command and ultimate responsibility for results is localized. As for down in the organization as efficient management of the organization permits. Decentralization is opposite of centralization. It increases the role of subordinates. Decentralization also means delegation of authority at all levels of organization. It is suitable, decentralization is suitable for large scale enterprises. If we differentiate centralization and decentralization, in, in centralization, powers, it involves centralization of powers at the center, while as in decentralization it involves giving powers to lower level. So far as decision making is concerned, all important decisions are taken at top level in centralization, and all decisions are taken by various levels of authority in decentralization. Type of concern: small concerns use centralization, while as big concerns use decentralization. Centralization destroys individual initiative. Decentralization encourages initiative at lower levels. In case of centralization, responsibility lies at top level. In case of decentralization, responsibility lies at different levels. In case of centralization, control is at the center. In case of decentralization, control is at different levels. In case of centralization, no freedom of action is given at lower hands, and in case of decentralization, freedom of action at various levels of authority. That's all for today. Goodbye, students.